lost in the world, and especially if you're going through obstacles, stagnation, and some difficulties in our lives, remember that whatever is happening in your life, you are not outside of God's grace. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today on Night In with Joy Irungu, where we get to share our life stories, speak hope to all the ladies around the world as we turn our pain into power. And today we'll be joined by a lady who has gone through her own share of pain. And you know what? As I always say, pain and purpose are always and sometimes maybe connected. And her purpose just came to pass. Hi, Beverly.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Very fine.
Thank you very much for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
And I know whatever you have gone through or is just about to speak hope to somebody, and somebody will be changed through your stories. So tell me, Beverly, we were just talking right now and you're telling me how you've been in Daystar and you did communication.
Yes.
Umesomea Daystar for how long?
I've been in Daystar for 9 years. Not doing medicine, but not doing a degree plus master's or what, but just degree undergraduate that is supposed to take 4 years.
Oh.
Yeah, but it ended up being 9 years in school, of which I don't see it like time wasted, no, because I believe without God opening that door, I don't think I could have ever stepped into campus.
Okay.
I could have just been somewhere, Mtaani, Kibera. That's where I was born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah, in Kibera slums, which has been home until last year. Those are 31 years.
Wow.
Last year, that's when I got married.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you've been in campus for 9 good years, studying a course that was supposed to take 4 years.
Yeah.
And why was this?
Number one, background, poverty. And I normally say it's God who just led me to Daystar. Because if it was not for Daystar, I could not have studied. I could not have gone to school as in campus. I couldn't have. Most people used to say, especially even relatives, why don't you just go do a three-month certificate? And I'm looking at it, even that pesa certificate, it's not there. Daystar hata kama sikuwa nimeenda class, kama sijaingia class, for me it was home.
Okay.
Ile tunaenda, you're in the compound, you feel you're okay, even if I was not in class. But being there all those years, I can tell you, it was in and out. In and out, how also working in people's houses as a house help. I've babysat a lot. Getting that car break, you're out of school, going to babysit. I normally say I'm an international one because I went all the way to Dar es Salaam to babysit.
And let me ask you, getting into Daystar, was it a scholarship?
Let me tell you, it was not a scholarship. When I came back from doing my Form 6, that is in Kampala, and even going to Kampala, it was just because of Mashida. And then one Muslim lady there in Kibera saw that msichana akiendelea hivi, hizi mimba za mapema, she might be a victim. Because unajua Kibera ni zile nyumba single rooms, yeah? Kwa plot, we used to pay 800 shillings. That is per month.
Okay.
And then even that 800 shillings, sometimes it was...
It's even difficult to pata,
yeah. And then ni zile nyumba zenye jirani akiongea unasikia. Yeah, so it was difficult. And then, so one time when from church after the service, my youth pastor asked me, like, Beverly, what would you want to do now that you're done with your high school? And then I told him that when I was in school back in Kampala, I used to be a news reader, kwa parade assembly.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I really got encouraged by both staff and teachers, staff and students. So when I came back, and then my pastor said that, the best school for that is Daystar. The following week I went there. Then, you know, my dad, in as much as he was not in a position to provide because he got retrenched some time back, he really loved education. And then the fact that hakufika pale mali alikuwa nataka, he really invested in me a lot. Now, starting school, my dad really tried to raise that money, of which school fees is 100 and per semester. And the amount of money that he could raise was 10,000 shillings that first semester. So I did not do my exams. The following semester, I went back. There's this lecturer who really loved me a lot, Madam Pamela Kombo. She's such a lovely lady. So when we met in the streets, then in school, and then she asked me, I never saw you in my exam last semester, exam room. And then I told her the situation, and then she was there, and then she told me what to do, and then together with her husband, at least she was able to get me some amount, at least to do 2 units that particular semester. And then that's how I got back to school doing 2 units, yeah? And then I'm telling you, your life ya shule, because I'm that kind of person, I really didn't want to open up to people at your...
The struggles that you're going through.
So even you could imagine stories to do with lunch or nini. As long as I was in class, that was enough for me. So jioni unapiga mguu. It used to take 25 to 30 minutes from Daystar Valley Road to Kibera. For me, it was not really yani ile hindrance that I don't have this. Yangu ilikuwa as long as I can go to class. And that was it.
You had a vision.
Yeah.
You knew where you're going and what you want in life. That is nice.
And I knew very much that pale kwa plot, you know, that respect that you're being given at uko campus. That one alone just pushed me to work hard very much. And then while in campus, I interacted with friends, and some of the friends, those who are well off, yeah, you're sharing with them class, and then you're like, in case of anything, kama unataka mtu wa kazi ya mkono, at least neza saidia, neza saidia hata kama msichana wako wa kazi. Yani, I was just ready to help and do any kind of work. That one I knew at least it can give me something small, yeah. Talk about sanitary towels, sabuni, nini, all those. Mtaa, wacha tu. So a time like that, I remember the first kibarua, I should say kibarua, that I got being a house help, yeah, just to go and help them out because they had just gotten married. It's one of the media personalities we were sharing a class with, and then they were getting married, and then they didn't have someone to help them move around, like the lady moving to where the guy was staying, moving her things, yeah, and that's how I survived. And then another semester again, how I survived, I got a one-time gift. That's how they used to call it in Daystar. One-time gift of 144,000.
Nice.
That semester. And you can imagine that money, I was not in that department. It was a ComDev department that they wanted to sponsor students from ComDev department. And then here I am, communication department. But what made them iliwafanya waneke kwa list yes, students to be interviewed for that one-time gift, it's because I'd also worked for one of the staffs at their home. Yeah, because one of their house girls had traveled. So I had to go work for them. As in ile si you're going to work for them so that you can get a scholarship. No. Yani you had worked for them before. So by the time wanakuja kufikiria, oh, we need Beverly in this list to be also interviewed. And that's how I got also my scholarship that semester, 144,000.
Nice.
Life continued. Another time, I was going to Saudi. Ile nyonafika.
Saudi tena?
Yes.
Kuhustle?
No. I have my passport. It has been cancelled twice.
Okay.
The first time, I'd prepared everything. You see the way you buy even the buibui so that usiende huko kapatiwa buibui oversize. I bought the buibui, and then I bought also the headscarves, yeah? Because, you know, in Kibera going to Saudi, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Ati when the town utafute ofisi ya kwenda Saudi iko wapi? Hapo we have agents.
Oh.
Yeah, we really have them. And you look at the kind of life that is there and you're like, this 20,000 per month, acha niende. Na si ati nilikuwa naenda to save for my education, hapana. You know, just for my family, because you're looking at the family. Because this kind of poverty also, my mother had to go to the village, yeah, so with my siblings. So we remained with my dad. And then after some time, my dad also left. So by the time I was in Daystar, no, he left to go to the village, yeah. By the time I was in Daystar, my dad also had already left for the village. So going to Saudi, even if you tell them, they won't be, usiende, nini,
So at this time you're going to Saudi, not only to take care of your own stuff, but also to take care of your family.
My family, yeah.
So mtoto anafanya vitu zake na kutunza mzazi.
Yes, and let me tell you, that's the kind of
and
life
you still have
that
to
is
soma.
there. Sana kusoma, niliona yo kusave yo, okay, kusoma nilikuwa nimeona nitaifanya baadaye, but not going to Saudi to save money for school fees.
So when you went to Saudi, you took a break of how long so that you can
I'd
come
not
back to
gone.
Soma?
Now this is what happened.
Okay, sorry.
Now going to Saudi, she had already done everything. There are 2 tests that you're supposed to do. Test ndogo na kubwa. Ndogo ni ya pregnancy, nini, and then kubwa ni mambo na x-ray, hivyo. I finished. And then after that, we were waiting for the passports to come back from the Saudi embassy back to the office in town. Funny enough, that group that we were in, because I also had a relative in that group, they all went when their passports came back. But when my passport came back, they said that I'd been given a wrong visa. So it had to go back to the Saudi embassy. Then it took long before it came back again. And in that process of it being at the Saudi embassy, that's when now the school calls me, Daystar. They called me back and then they told me, Beverly, wakaniita shule, si nikaenda. It was an opportunity. Then they told me that we want you to come to school this semester, yeah, and prove to the committee that you can perform. My performance was bad at school because sometimes I used to work, then go to school. Sometimes there's a semester I enrolled for the evening lessons, yeah, evening classes. So I remember that for those evening classes, I was also working for someone during the day. And then in the evening, I go to school. So like that, then they said that in the committee, there's someone who really tetered you. And this person said, how do you expect? Because, you know, when you're giving a scholarship, you have to be with a certain GPA, which I didn't have. Actually, there's a time I was given a probation letter. And that probation letter, I took it, I really cried. Because it's a warning you're being given because of your performance. Yeah. And there's someone, a staff, who really spoke and said, how do you expect this girl to perform when she's working for people as a house help and coming to class? And then the committee decided that I should be given 1 semester. Yeah? That 1 semester so that they can see my performance with no disturbance.
Okay.
So that it can determine whether I can be given a scholarship or not.
Nice.
So there's this madam who called me from the financial aid office, Madam Jennifer. There are people who are, some people who, the kind of job that they do, it's just God who had put them in some offices, like Jennifer Kinoti at Daystar. And then Jennifer called me, akaniambia, Beverly. She talks to me, yani, she talks like a mother. And that day she really talked to me so that I can understand and make my decision. That even though committee imesema, unaona unaweza, are you ready to stay in school ama ukwe day scholar nini? Nikasema niko. So I thought maybe they wanted me to stay with someone. Nikasema Kibira niko sawa. So kufikiria, after reaching home nikafikiria Jennifer alikuwa anasema nini, nikampigia simu. Ndo akasema no, it was not staying with someone but going to Athi River. Which one did you, Athi River campus, which one would you prefer for this 1 semester? Hey, I said Athi River. Nice. Hey, because there the hostel has been catered for, you know, the cafeteria has been catered for. Yani wewe ilikuwa uende usome tu. I said at the river without even thinking, oh, sijui pesa shopping itatoka hapi. And I'm telling you, one of the families, when I shared with them that testimony the families have been working for, there's this lady from Ngara. She made sure that she's the one who shopped for me. Akwenda kwanza shule. Nice. She shopped. Na kaniambia enda usome.
Nice.
And that one semester, Madam Jennifer Kinoti was praying that I get a GPA that will please the committee. So imagine what God can do. You're going to school, you're being considered with a very poor GPA. And then you're still going there. Yani God alinionyesha si ule mtu ati wa protocol nini. Alinionyesha silver and gold belongs to him.
True.
And then ile ati yani niliona mali God amevunja protocols mali mob sana. Pale mali ya one time gift ile ya department ingine, alafu hapa nimepelekwa Athi River campus. My GPA is not pleasing at all, but the school has offered to give me 1 semester. I go prove to them that I can study.
And you did very good.
I did.
You malized, you got grades and nini, and they continued sponsoring you.
Imagine. So at that particular, after that semester, the results came. That's when I got scholarship, full scholarship from Daystar US.
Okay.
Full scholarship, 100%. Everything catered for. Yangu ilikuwa tu kusoma. And then these small challenges while in school, the sanitary towels and you know the small ones zenye una pocket money, but I never looked at that. Mine was just to study. And I thank God for Madam Irene Kimani was also there from Daystar, Dorcas Ministry, Daystar. They used to, you don't have pads, and then they used to identify such cases.
And they help out.
I can tell you, I've never received a pocket money from my parents. And of course I understand.
Yeah, true.
Ni ile sasa ukipata pesa huko Nairobi, so you have to share with your family back at home.
We thank God for this. You know, whenever the devil tries to bring something to hinder us from our destiny, God, Bible inasema when the devil plans something for evil, God turns it around for good. You know,
very
and I'm
true.
so grateful for you. Like you are a true testimony of what they say, where there is a way, there's a way. Where there's a way, where there's a way, where there is a will, there is a way. You know, and you have been patient enough to go through all that, and right now you have a baby.
Yeah.
You are married. You are a producer for a TV show. You know, and you know, I don't know. I feel like. Whatever I normally say, paid and purpose are normally connected, is a true story of what you are experiencing right now. Because you see, kenye umepitia, you've been patient enough, and now you're reaping the fruits.
Yeah. So
tell us how you managed to get the job at Ibru as a producer.
That was when you know, at school, when you're in your final year, you're supposed to do your internship first and then graduate. So without doing internship, you cannot graduate. So after that was my last semester, applying different media stations, and then sometimes you get feedback, sometimes no. And then I got feedback from Ibru, and then after getting that feedback, I was called for an interview. That is for internship. And then even at the interviewer, we went, it was the first interview, and then we were called in for a second interview. Then for the first interview, I was the last person. And then when I went, because we planned amongst ourselves that after the interview tungojane ndo tulizane vile kulikuwa. So when I went into that office, I did not even take long the way the others took long. So this lady asked me questions, and then I answered, and then I was out, and then wengine wakashanga, hivyo tu, kasema nimeambiwa nirudi interview ya pili wataitana. And then for the second interview also, it really happened even in a very funny manner. When I went in, and then the lady told me that go call the rest, we go to the boardroom. So I was not even interviewed, the second interview, yeah. So that's how it happened, and then I got the job, learned, and then graduated. That was in July after the internship, and then still after the internship they took me in.
Nice.
Yeah, I was working, by then during internship I was working as an assistant producer, yeah, to 2 shows, and then after that I became the producer to those 2 shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, till now. Yeah, and it really inspires me a lot. A lot, especially for one of the shows that I'm doing called Story of My Life. Yeah, you get to hear people's stories and you're like, mimi sikupitia kitu.
I know.
It really encourages you.
Yeah,
it really encourages you a lot when you hear people's stories,
Yeah.
and you get to know, you are not alone.
Yeah.
And one thing that I didn't tell you, that in Kibera, this issue that we're having right now about teenage pregnancies, let me tell you, it's real. And you might not even, the numbers there, kwa ground vitu ni tofauti. Especially right now when people are at home. Because at one point I was also a victim. Not to ati relationship, ati boyfriend, no. Personally, I was defiled. That is the life that is there in the slums. At one point I sat down and I thought, God ni ajabu. Kuna vile God atakuprotect. Because you're looking at these men, kwa plot, wazazi wajua watoto wanapitia nini. No, and especially now that children are at home.
Yeah.
They do not know. You go, a big man, yani mtu mwenye tu akili zake, ya, na familia, mature man, taking advantage of you as a young lady. I was in primary. And I can't remember if it was class 8, class 7. No, it was not. Kule chini. Yeah. And it was not even one family man. And I'm normally not even afraid to share, because I know there's some people out there
who are going through the same, and they want to speak it out.
And I normally sit down and I ask myself, akini Mungu alitaka niishi? Because I look at AIDS, I never got AIDS. And then at that particular time, I had not started my periods, okay. But I looked at, those sexually transmitted diseases.
Yeah.
No. And I'm like,
these
are, I'm telling you, family men.
So, let me just ask, you've been defiled, and not only once, and with different men.
Yeah.
And you still gather the strength to continue.
Because I think if my mother even gets to hear about it, she'll be very disappointed, or because these are people that she knew.
So these are men who are within your circle, mnajuana mpaka familia zao.
Plot. You're taking advantage. That time, you see, that time when people, your TV was like, TV haikuwa common wako huko mtaani. So hiyo time yenye mnaenda kuona TV, and then mtu anafukuza watoto wengine then nje. So this thing is real. It's very real. And many children are going through it. Yeah, and the parents know nothing about it. And I'm like, what about those children that have gone through it with people who are HIV positive? You understand? What about those children who are going through this and they're already in their periods? Meaning you become pregnant. Not with a man or not with a boyfriend, not with a man who loves you. No, with somebody's father. Yeah.
And this is something that will live to torment you in one way or the other. Because if I find that most of these cases, as a woman grows up, ndio wengine wana suffer from identity problem. True. Like you feel you've already been, you feel like your body has been misused, and most of them even go to prostitution. Yeah. They go to so many things
because you've already been introduced to that. You see, and even mine was not that I want money. No.
It just
no, not because you wanted money. Yes. Yeah, something like that. It's true, it happens. Pale mtaani, and parents really have to
to take care.
Yeah, and be close to their children.
And share. You need to be best friends with your children.
With your children.
Thank you very much, Beverly, for coming to share with us. I didn't know that, but imeni touch, because I don't know, I feel so bad when some things happen to young girls. And knowing that these are the next generation, these are, oh my God, yeah, you know. But I thank you for opening up. I thank you for sharing. I thank you for coming to the show to tell us your story, because I know either way or the other, what you've just shared with us today has spoken to somebody outside there who is going through something and they're feeling just held back. They don't want to share. And may God bless you even as you continue. I am so proud of you. You're a true testimony of what God does. May you continue to blossom.
Amen.
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 Thank you guys, as we've heard it from Beverly, even through the tests and tribulations, be patient. Humility, just have humility. And always remember, God will never leave you, and His grace is always enough and will always satisfy you just as you want it, and He is never too late. Keep it tuned on our YouTube channel, Ladies C.L.C, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Our Instagram handle, Facebook handle, Twitter is Ladies C.L.C. See you next time.